This is a San Martin SN029. It's not very popular, which is probably because it's a model that isn't given out for free to YouTube channels, which is a shame because it's a very clean looking watch. It's about as straightforward as a diver can get, and I like how plain and simple the execution is. The monochrome steel on steel theme fits right in with my preferences. I was originally looking at the Unimatic U4 Classic, but I could not justify spending $700 on a watch that only offered a NH35 movement. The specs and price made more sense on the SN029 and was arguably a much better value proposition. I do not consider this a homage to the Unimatic. If you take the time to review them both, you will find they are different in every category. I can see similarities to a 62 Mas and older Submariners, but I still find it very much its own thing. Chinese watches are always going to have a harder time proving their worth, so let's break into it and see if it actually walks the walk. I like this case back. When it comes to case backs, I either prefer complex embossed designs or the exact opposite, the bare and brushed look. Here's the inside. Personally, I'm not a fan of plastic movement holders, but objectively, they are better for shock resistance. The Miyota 8315 movement looks very nice. For under $300, I'm satisfied. This is the kind of quality to price ratio that makes watch collecting enjoyable for me. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of all the other basic bitch Swiss luxury bullshit, but this kind of stuff takes up an equal amount of space in my heart. When something looks good on the outside and on the inside, there's not much more I can ask for. The crown has some room for improvement. I find the winding action a little bit tricky as I have to tug ever so slightly for the winding stem to catch. It's not perfect, but here I'm willing to settle for good enough. There is a price everyone has where perfection is expected, but here I'm fine with a minor quirk like this. That aside, the actions throughout are all good. Opening and closing the crown is good, the clasp is good, and of course the bezel is good. The bezel moves smoothly but retains a feeling of sturdiness that acts as an immediate litmus test of quality. At first I thought the naked bezel was a gimmick, but the substantially sized pip makes this otherwise fun watch a more than capable time tracker. Some people aren't going to want to hear this, but the action is on par with any big name Swiss luxury brand. That doesn't make the Swiss watch any less, but rather speaks volumes about this one. It looks good in the dark too. Here's the lume. San Martin watches never disappoint with their lume game. In the last 4 years that I've been a customer, they've put a lot of my other watches to shame. I should have started the video with the obligatory disclaimer that I'm not sponsored by anybody. I feature a lot of San Martin watches on my channel because I buy a lot of San Martin watches. And the reason I buy a lot of San Martin watches is because for the most part, they make a damn good product. I've got certain unwritten rules within each price tier, and in the $200 to $500 range, I think San Martin is king, at least within my own collection. They've got a lot of one-for-one copycat models, but they also have a decent collection of unique pieces and true homages that showcase their design creativity. The SN029 is what I would consider uniquely San Martin and a great watch to own. The wrist incels out there can rest easy knowing that this is a legitimate watch for legitimate people. And that's all I got for now. Stay classy, I sure as hell won't.